All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming today, and for people that view this later on. So today we're going to talk about successful online learning techniques. And so I have a couple people here today. I have Patty Stillmaker, Future Ready librarian at Mapleview, and Megan Foreman, student support advocate at Mapleview. And so today we're going to have some teaching, and then we'll have some Q&A at the end. So love to hear your questions. Go ahead, and as you are hearing the presentation today, feel free and put your questions in the Q&A function, and then we'll have a little time for that at the end. So Megan and Patty, I'm going to stop my share. I'm going to let you share, and I'm going to turn my video off. And
hey, Ms. Thieber asked us to kind of just share how to be organized during virtual learning and how to best support students in this virtual learning. And as she said, I'm the student support advocate. So one thing I do is I work with students and families to support whatever needs they have. But when it comes to the technology side of things, I rely heavily on Ms. Stillmaker. And so when she asked me to do this, I was like, I'm not doing this without my counterpart, Ms. Stillmaker. So I just want to first and foremost say that. So one thing that we've noticed a lot of with this, and we're going to kind of go into some techniques with both the technology, but also just staying organized yourself too, is we've really noticed some trends with how to get set up. So Ms. Stillmaker, the next slide, just making sure that students have a dedicated school space. I know we've been doing this for a year, but when I'm Zooming with students one-on-one, I still see students who say, I'm sleeping in my bed during school. I can't turn on my camera because I'm still just laying in my bed. So making sure that they have a place in the house that's designated as that safe school space. This should be an area with minimal distractions, good lighting. We do know that there's other kids running around the home, pets and things like that, but being creative, creating that desk, that kitchen table, avoid doing schoolwork in the bed, and feel creative as long as it works for you and your student. So on the next slide, we have this quick little video that some other parents have sent and shared with us. So just kind of, we'll watch this. So as we watch that video, some things that I just want to speak to about it is notice that she's staying in her bed every day. And one thing we know about our students and their mental health is just being able to get up and move to another location to be able to say, this is my space where I need to think about school, is really important for them in order to be successful with online learning, hybrid learning, concurrent learning, whatever it is. To be able to go to that school space helps get them in the right mindset. The other thing that I want you to notice too is just how her posture changes as she's sitting on her bed for longer. And so by being able to have a desk, a designated space to sit and do my schoolwork, I'm sitting upright. I know I'm paying attention to this because I'm in that space. My mindset is in the space of online learning. And so even just being able to change it up for my own student who goes to school in Tahoma, we've moved his desk around to different places so we can change the setting to get his mindset in certain things. So just making sure that even if they've been in the same place for a while, changing what their desk looks like, changing where it is in the house, but updating that so they can get that variable and get their brains set for being engaged in their learning is really important.
And there's some tools to kind of help them keep up to date and stuff with that. One of the big ones is we've got Google Classroom. Google Classroom gives us lots of information. The thing is that if you go ahead and check your Google Classroom, you have to check it with your student. We don't have a way for you to do it in real time. You can ask for notifications. They come once a week, usually on Fridays when they get sent out. And it's nothing we do. It's something that Google gathers a whole bunch of information and gives it to you. But I'd really suggest you sit down with your child and go ahead and have them open up their Google Classroom. When they open it up, there's going to be a bunch of all their classes should be right here. I just snipped this little part out of here. But at the very part, there should be a to-do list. And that just kind of reminds them what they haven't done and what they need to go ahead and get done. So it's just a quick place to go to be able to find out what needs to be done in any of their classes. The other thing I'd suggest you do is just check Skyward once a week. I know when my kids were younger, that one of the things we did, it was on Wednesday night. That was just our magic night that we did it. They knew it was coming up. I'd ask them ahead of time, anything I should know ahead of time. And so they could tell me I turned this in late. It hasn't been graded yet. So there'd be really no surprises when we got on Skyward. But again, sitting down with your child and really looking through that stuff to get their viewpoint as well when you're going ahead and looking at this technology.
The other one I want to add to, Ms. Stillmaker, you can talk about how they don't talk to each other.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Google Classroom and Skyward. Skyward doesn't talk to a lot of people or a lot of different programs and stuff. And so things that are in Google Classroom that look like they're done and stuff like that, the teacher manually needs to go ahead and input those into Skyward. So there'll probably be some kind of delay. The other thing too is on Google Classroom is Google Classroom starting to integrate with some other third parties like Edpuzzle. So because of that, it self-grades and it automatically puts the grades in. The kids don't even do anything, or the teachers don't have to put anything, but they do need to transfer that information into Skyward. Please give them some time to do that. I'd say give them 2 weeks. I'd say a week, but I would even say 2 weeks just to be gracious to them. So if you don't see anything right away, but you see it in Google, it's okay. It will get over to Skyward at some point. Thank you, Ms. Foreman. That one. And our next one is just talking about emailing teachers and missing assignments. Just so you know, when they're going ahead and turning assignments, we used to have in most of our rooms is we used to have a turn-in box where everyone would turn it in, physically go ahead and turn in their assignments. So everything is in one place. But now we've got all these different tools that we're trying to get stuff from. And so sometimes things do get missed. It's not intentional, it just happens. We didn't look in the right box or the right place to go ahead and find that. And the other thing too is remember that all your teachers, just like when you come to middle school, they all have different places where they put that turn-in box or how they want it to be done. Same thing happens digitally. And so some teachers have gone ahead and they have a form you have to fill out just to remind them to go ahead and look for an assignment that was missing that they've turned in late. Other teachers use some of the tools that are available in Google and say this is turned in late, and they just go ahead and look at basically this gigantic spreadsheet every single week. So it really matters on how the teacher's doing that. So just duck in with the teacher to kind of see how they're doing that. The other thing too is when you're sending emails, we've been teaching the kids about this, about having respectful emails. And so an example, not a respectful email, was I turned in my missing assignment. Can you grade it now? Is kind of how that one comes across. So a nicer way of doing that is, I wanted to let you know that I turned in a missing assignment. Probably telling what the missing assignment is would probably be good too. Will you let me know if I need to make any corrections or changes? Just a different tone that comes across. It's email, it's just words, get that, but just kind of how it's taken in perspective from teacher's point of view. And like I said, we've been working with kids on that, of how to go ahead and do respectful emails. And so they have had some practice with that. The next thing is,
adding to that, Ms. Stillmaker, real quick too, is just, I would really encourage you as you're working with your students and as they're getting older, when we created this, we thought about elementary, middle, high school, all the different grade levels, but as they're getting older, really encouraging them to be the ones who are reaching out to their teachers and saying, hey, let's write this together, but let's have it come from you. Looking at those grades in Skyward, saying, let's sit down and look at it from your perspective, but let's do that together, creates that open dialogue with your student about grades and assignments, and that lets them know that it's okay to talk to you about that.
and one of the things for you to know about is you can go ahead and reset your password. You have a different password than your child has. Your child has student access so they can see things. You have family access. And so there's different things that you're able to see and things you're able to do. They look really similar. They're pretty much parallel, but there's just a couple things that might be slightly different on them. For instance, one would be adding money to lunches. Kids can't do that. You can as a parent. If they need to have their go to home password reset though, they really need to call IT. This year we went to a single sign-on, which I have to say I love because people remember their passwords a whole lot better with single sign-on. So from an IT person or a person who helps and supports with technology, it's nice. I just don't have as many students who are asking to have their passwords reset. But for go to home, you'll call IT. But for Skyward, you can actually do it by yourself. And teachers could do this, parents can do it, and students could do it. And we're just going to show you a really quick little film that I put together a little while ago that shows you how to do this. And we can make it as a resource for you as well.
Hi, my name is Patty Stillmaker. I am the Future Aid Librarian at Maple View Middle School. Part of my job is to support staff, students, and parents in technology. So tonight I'd like to teach you how to change your own Skyward password. All students, all staff, and all parents at Maple View Middle School have the ability to do this. The first step that you will take is to go to our Tahoma School District website. At the very bottom, we've got buttons across the bottom for important places you would like to go to. You're going to find the one for Skyward and you're going to click it. It will take you to this page. You want to make sure you're in the Tahoma School District Skyward. The reason why is because this program is used throughout the United States. And if you type in Skyward into a URL rather than going to the Tahoma School District page, you quite possibly could end up in a different school district. So just ask that you check to see that you're in the Tahoma School District. The next step you'll do is at the very bottom, you've got the forgot login and password. You will click on that if you want to reset your password because you forgot it in reality, or your login or your password, or because you never knew it to begin with. It will take you to this dialog page. For this dialog page, it's your forgotten login password assistant page. You'll check off that you're not a robot, and then here you will type in your email. If you are a parent, you're going to give us the email that you gave us when you registered your child or gave us with updated records. For students, this will be your Go to Home US email. Then you'll hit submit. After you do that, you'll see a box that comes up and it says your request has been received by the district. If you don't receive this email soon, please contact the district. You'll hit OK, it will disappear. Then you will go to your email and you'll look for an email that says do not reply, forgotten login, password assistance. For this one, it says, we've received a request to reset the account associated with this email address. If you made this request, please follow the instructions below. If you did not request to have your account reset, you can ignore this email. Then it will have your last name and it will have your first name. I blocked part of it out for privacy reasons. Your login will be something like STILLPAT000. Then it says click or paste the following link to reset your account. So you'll go over this link, you will click on it. When you click on it, you will come to a box that looks like this. It will have your last name, it will have your first name, it will give you what your login is. You might want to write that down. And then it gives you the ability to create a new password. The new passwords need to have at least one special character. The special character are the things that are above the numbers on a keyboard. So like the @ sign or the hashtag or the $sign. The minimum password length is 8 characters. And then the number of passwords before reuse is 2. So if you use something, you have to go back at least 3 to be able to reuse it again. After you've typed it in, you're going to type it in again. They just want to make sure things match. If they do, and you hit submit, then it will say your password has been successfully updated. I hope this will help you to change your password in Skyward if you need to, either because you've forgotten your login or password or because you didn't have that information to begin with. Thank you.
So it's very nice because it means that your students can go ahead and redo their passwords, and obviously you can go ahead and do yours. And so it's just nice that you don't have to go through IT or anything like that to be able to do that. And the big things that I see, and this works for all of our kids, all of our secondary kids have their own, parents have them for K through 12, is that one of the biggest things I see at Mapleview is that a lot of kids type in Mapleview Skyward. And there actually is a Mapleview school district back in Michigan. And so often they end up at that school district and it will say, my email didn't work. It says it doesn't recognize my email. And a lot of times it's because they're in the wrong place, that they're looking at a different school district because multiple school districts do use these programs. And so that's just a really common thing that I see. Skyward notifications. I'm going to show you how, as a parent, this is something you can do that your kids can't do, something with family access, to show you how you can go ahead and set up notifications to go ahead and get email sent to you from Skyward to kind of let you know what's going on with your child's grades.
Hi, my name is Patty Stillmaker. I'm the Future Rate Librarian at Mapleview Middle School. Part of my job is to help staff, students, and parents with technology. Today, I'd like to help you navigate Skyward so that you can sign up for a summary email from Skyward. In order to be able to do this, you're going to start at the Tahoma School District webpage. At the very bottom, you'll see a series of buttons. You'll click on the Skyward button. It will take you to a page like this where you will go ahead and log in and sign in. If you've forgotten your login and password or never knew what it was, please see my video about resetting your password. Once you get here on the home page, this is for the parents only. This is not on the student side. This is only on the parent side. You'll see a page like this. It'll have your account settings and your address. This portion is based on the information that you gave us at the beginning when you registered your child. If you go down below at the very bottom, you can see that you have email notifications. During this one, you can go ahead and check what you want. You can check that you want to receive daily attendance notifications by email, or if you click on it, you can also do it by phone. You can also receive grade emails from Skyward that tell you how your student's doing. You can set this up to go ahead and be weekly or daily, and you can set the day of the week by going down here. Just click on Receive Grading Emails for My Students. Then you're going to tell what the lows and the highs that you want to do. And then on the next one down below, you'll be able to go ahead and say which day you want to have it delivered. If you have any questions about your son or daughter's grades, please contact your son or daughter's teachers. If the information was incorrect on the top half of the page above, please contact our school register, Mickey Von Stubbe. I hope that you will be able to now sign up for a summary email from Skyward.
So one of the big things to think about this one is I'd really only do Skyward notifications once a week. I wouldn't go for the every day. It's kind of like the stock market. It could drive you crazy. If you're looking at every little thing that happens or every little change that goes, is again, I'd pick a week that works for you and your child to kind of go over things ahead of time. but it's great to have Skyward go ahead and pull that information for you. Again, remember, it may not be the most up-to-date because teachers need to go ahead and put the information into Skyward. And so that takes a little data entry time for us to be able to do that.
Hi, my name is Patty Stonemaker. I'm the Future Rate Librarian at Maple View Middle School.
There we go, sorry.
Our next quick video, we are using Mr. Bashir's video, which is one that we used to share with our students. And as a parent myself, I was not aware of this new feature that Google put into place. And then as soon as I found out about it, I was like, this is a light bulb moment for me. I need to use this with my own child. And so we do this all the time as well. This is a new feature that just started in the fall. And so there are some students that are still not aware that it exists. And that's the to-do list. And as you can see before we get the video started, there's assigned, missing, done. There's different time frames and things. So it's really helpful for staying on top of the things that are done in Google Classroom and need to be done. And like we've said before, Google Classroom doesn't necessarily always talk to Skyward, but starting with Google Classroom and getting those assignments done is where you need to begin. And then Skyward is the back end for the reporting pieces.
Sorry.
Hi there, guys. This video is going to tell you how you can more effectively take a look at all of the assignments that you have coming up in all of your classes, all in one place. So if you're like me and you want to be well organized, you might struggle sometimes clicking back and forth between different classrooms, trying to see what all your assignments are. There is, however, a better way. If you head over to the top left of your screen when you're in Google Classroom, like I am here, you'll find these 3 lines. Click on those. This top part here is a teacher view, but down here you're going to see this. You'll see enrolled, and then you'll see this thing right here. It says to do. You click on that, you'll actually get to see a to-do list. Now, there's nothing here but numbers, but if I click on any of these little arrows pointing down, I'll get to see assignments in that category. So maybe I want to see what assignments are due this week. If I click this arrow, it's going to tell me what the assignment is, when it's due, and the class that it's for. I could click on that and get more details and information. I could also look at things that are coming up. What's due next week? Or maybe I want to see things that are due even further out than that. I could do that. Some of you might have teachers as well that assign things without a due date. Sometimes it's for a recurring assignment that you're working on over a long period of time. You'll see those on here as well. They're under the no due date category. Simply click the down arrow and you can see all of those in here too. So by taking a look at this to-do list, you can get a better sense of what's coming up. You can also see what's missing by clicking on that missing button here. Look, there's something that I missed, right? Here's something that I missed weeks ago, right? So you can take a look at missing assignments on Google Classroom in this way, or by clicking done, you can see what have you actually submitted already. This could include things that you finished early, and then things that you completed that don't have a due date or that have due dates that are later. Okay? So again, that to-do list right here is super duper useful if you're trying to keep yourself organized and you don't want to flip back and forth between all of your different classes. Hopefully you enjoyed that tip and find it useful.
And just for you to know, if you are actually in the classes looking at the things, is as soon as they've been submitted, it grays them out, going from that bright pink or whatever bright color it uses for that particular classroom. It will go ahead and gray it out, and that says it's done. That means it's submitted. And Google just says, okay, they submitted it. And so they could have turned in blank copies. And so I would suggest that be another thing too, is that you have your child go ahead and show you the work that they turned in, especially if they're getting a lot of things that are showing up as missing, because it could be that they are just turning in blank copies. I do a couple enrichment classes, and I even have a couple of kids in that who go ahead and do that one for me.
You beat me to the punch, Miss Stillmaker. I was going to say,
Oh, sorry.
As a parent myself too, when we figured out this feature, my own child quickly learned that if I turn things in, then mom's going to look at my to-do list and know I don't have anything done. But then we quickly learned that what he was doing was turning in blank assignments, so they didn't show up in the to-do list. And so again, just encouraging you to sit down with your student, looking through their Google Classroom, learning how that works, looking through Skyward and having those grades, but doing it together creates that open dialogue about what's getting done, what's missing, what do we need help with? And so that creates that. And it also tells your student that you care enough about their grades and learning the process with them. And that's really important as well. The next one is Ms. Stillmaker just teaching both students and faculty, staff, how to check grades in Skyward.
Hi, my name is Patty Stelmaker. I am the Future Ray librarian for Mapleview Middle School. Part of my job is to help staff, students, and parents with technology. Tonight, I'd like to teach you how to navigate Skyward to be able to check your grades. The first step you're going to take is you're going to go to the Tahoma School District website. Once you're there, you're going to go to the bottom of the page and you're going to click on the Skyward button. Once you're there, you should be to the page that says Tahoma School District, Tahoma SD 409. At this point, you'll log in with your login information and password. If you've forgotten your login or password information, or if you never got it, you're going to watch my video that tells you how to reset your password. Once you've done this, you're going to sign in. When you sign in, the first page you'll see on our page, our students page, is going to be a message page. There might be messages from your teachers already there. Then you're going to go ahead and look down the list and you're actually going to pick Gradebook. Once you pick Gradebook, it will take you to a page that looks like this. It will have the teacher's name and then it will have the grade overall for the quarter or for the semester. To see what makes up that grade, you're going to click on it. It's been hyperlinked. And you'll end up with a page that looks like this, and it will tell you more of what the assignments are. If you have any grading questions, please contact your son or daughter's teacher. And I hope this will help you to navigate Skyward so that you can check your grades on Skyward.
Again, this one was really helpful for me as a parent as well. As a staff member, I see the staff member view. When I'm helping students, I look at that. When I have parents on the phone, I see the staff member view. But when we shifted, the elementary students actually switched to getting grades in Skyward. And I didn't know how to check Skyward grades from a parent perspective. So I called on my good friend, Miss Stillmaker, and said, I don't know how to do this. How do I check? And that's why she's such a lovely person to have in your back pocket, helping you out with all these technology things, is because sometimes even those of us in the system get lost with this too. So being able to check those grades. Another one, if you don't want to look in your parent view, is I would have your students sit down at the table with you, have them log into their student view like this video shows, have them pull it up and have that conversation with them. The next piece of this, and when Ms. Thiebert posts this on our YouTube page, there will be a link to the article for this as well, but encouraging discussions with your child about grades. And these are kind of some 8 helpful tips. Addressing the importance of grades early. A lot of times, even at middle school, 8th grade, when they're just getting ready to transition to high school, I still hear students saying, well, it's just middle school. It's not going on my transcript. It doesn't matter. But what we're doing early on, even as early as elementary, is learning the skills that grades do matter, that effort and learning matters. And so talking about the importance of those grades, the difference between a smiley face and a check mark on an elementary student's papers is still an important discussion to have, and to have that conversation about effort that's being put into that. Separate the child from the grade. This is a really important one. As a student myself, when I was growing up, I found the value in having the A's. And when I would struggle or overcome something, even in those really hard AP honor classes, if I didn't meet that standard, my mental health would get affected by that. And so learning that it was really more of a journey and putting in my effort, what am I learning from this, and putting in my best effort was really important. And it's not that I am the A, it's that I am learning, and it's a journey along the way. Number 3 is approach the subject with concern and not anger. Another thing that I hear students say a lot of times is, well, I'm scared to tell my dad that I'm missing an assignment, or I'm scared that I'm going to let my mom down because I have a C instead of a B. And so those students, they know that you value education and that you value their grades, and they're scared to come to you with that. And that's because they feel like they're going to be judged and there's going to be anger coming out of it. It's not that. And we know that as parents, we're here to help, but sometimes our kids get scared that they're letting us down. And so having that concern as opposed to that anger is really important. What can I do to help you bring those grades up? How can we write a letter or an email to your teacher together, but have it come from you? And teaching them those resiliency and those self-advocacy skills early on are really important. Number 4, asking questions. Why is this missing? Oh, it's not missing. Can you pull it up and let me see it? I want to see what you're doing. Let me see the beautiful work that you're writing in English. What is that cool art project that you did? But asking questions, how did you interpret this? What did you do to contribute to this group project? Things like that creates that dialogue to where the students know, just like in number 3, that you actually are concerned about it and that grades are important. And it's not that necessarily just the grade, but it's the journey. What did you do? What effort did you put into this? What have you learned from it? Talking to the teacher is also really important. And in this digital world, emailing them is probably the best way to reach our teachers. But talking to them, hey, my student says they turned in this assignment. Did it get lost? Have you seen it? Do we need to resubmit it? Having that dialogue with the teacher early on is really important. And I know that teachers feel like it's more of a teamwork when they hear parents emailing and have those concerns too. And so they know that you value it and they can have conversations with your student in the classroom about, hey, this is a teamwork thing. Let's all work on this together. Number 6, know that the rewards and punishments don't work if your child, if you want your child to love learning. It's the process. And so a lot of times when we talk about highs and lows with students, what is something you learned today? What is something that went really exciting? What is something that didn't go so well? How did you adjust that assignment? Again, it's the process and the journey of learning. What mistakes did you make? And what did you learn from them? That all encourages the love of learning and finding new information. Beware of pressures. One thing that Ms. Thiebert and I, working in student support, counseling, wellness realms, is our students feel tremendous pressure to be the straight A student, to be the athlete, to be in all of the clubs, to be popular, to have all their social media friends. And when they're juggling all of that, that pressure builds up. And so just be careful of that. What are things that we can prioritize? What are things that we need to make sure that we're having conversations about? What can we help take off of your plate? What do we need to add to the plate? But again, sitting down as a family, sitting down as a parent and your student, and having those conversations with them and having that early dialogue, like number 1, addressing it early is all going to help have that conversation and let your student know that they can come to you, whether it's a concern about grades or even something else. And then encourage your students to take the simplest steps first. One thing that I like to encourage students when they're feeling stressed about all of this is I often ask them, what is one thing you can control? What is one thing that you know you can accomplish today? And when I break it down for them, they can start to breathe and feel that sense of, I did one thing and now they're encouraged to continue. Now what's one more thing I can tackle? And now what's one more thing? And that will start to snowball and build on those things. So those students who have a lot of missing assignments, what's one thing we can tackle together and get that checked off of the list? That gives them that sense of accomplishment and encouragement to keep going. Again, the full article for this will be posted with this video. We'll be able to give you that as a resource as well.
Thank you, Megan. And then one of the things is just how to stay organized with tech and non-tech. As we come into hybrid, the kids are going to go ahead and start bringing their computers in. And so one of the things is we ask is it just makes it easier if the laptop's charged. But we also will ask you, we'd really like to see you have the chargers come as well, especially with our older Chromebooks. We know that the charge doesn't last that long. And so we will have places where they can get plugged in and stuff like that in the classrooms. But just to go ahead and make sure that you pack a charger as well. Other things too is just making sure their backpack is ready. They haven't had it for a little bit of time. So if they're coming back in, just making sure that their papers and folders are organized. One of the things that I like that I've learned from, I think, Miss Liebert, from being in organization meetings with her, with parents, is just having one folder where everything is in that one folder. So going through it the night before, this is what I need to turn in, this is what I need to work at. And even just having a folder like a peachy that one side says work I need to do, work that's completed, and they can actually physically move it from one side to the other. I think that's a great idea. The other one time is using their planner. I know a lot of them don't want to do this. I have a husband who's this way, who does not like to write things down. He sees it as kind of a waste of time. Luckily, he's got a wife who kind of keeps track for him. But we do give them planners. And so really using those planners to go ahead and write down what they need to do. It's just another place to kind of help them remember where things are at, that to-do list. The other thing too is packing a mask, one to wear and then one as a spare. And so that's a nice idea to have that one too. And we know kids are going to get hungry during the day when they come back with hybrid, just like they're hungry at home. And so if you guys can pack snacks, we just ask them to be bite-sized so they can go ahead and come like sneak them underneath their, pull up their mask a little bit and put it in there. But that would be a great idea as well. So
I will say too, with backpack organization, that this is something that we see as a need and parents need to be helping, and all of that from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade. We see students in our system whose backpacks look more like a garbage disposal. And that as we're switching concurrent, hybrid, whether they're even just staying remote, having that backpack and being able to stay organized with that stuff, like having your designated school space at school. I need to take my backpack with me there, but they're pulling their backpack out and things from their backpack in the morning. My son goes to school in the PM, so he has work that he has to pull out of his backpack in the morning. We've got to make sure it gets back in there for the PM session. We need to check it in the evening. We need to make sure that it's organized. And if it looks like a garbage disposal, he feels overwhelmed. Then I feel overwhelmed. And that's not just a third grade thing. We have 6th graders, 8th graders, 11th graders, 12th graders who are still struggling with just making sure their backpacks are organized. And I say that not to encourage you to do the organization for them, but to encourage them to get your backpack ready. Let me see your backpack. That doesn't look so great. Let's refix it. Or that doesn't, like, my son likes to put all the clunky stuff on the back side of his backpack by his back. And I'm like, wait, that can't feel comfortable. You want the flat stuff. And we have conversations about why backpack organization is really important.
And one of the other tips that I have, especially for the secondary that are blue and gold days, is we actually had 2 different backpacks, because especially with having a laptop coming in now too, that we'd have to move things a little bit. But that was another thing that saved our family when we got to secondary.
And that's the end of our presentation. We're ready for questions and answers. I know that there's a lot of technology that's going on, from Seesaw, Google Classroom, Padlet, Pear Deck, but we wanted to hit the big ones that we know there's a lot of questions for.
Thank you so much, you guys. It's like all of the things just kind of blow your mind of all the supports that are possible, but then all the things that parents could be doing that actually is making their life easier. So thank you for those things. I've popped in the chat a couple different things that you guys might want to look at. Our TSD wellness page, so it has kind of different supports. And if we've got some of those articles, I can put them on this page as well. And then links for any other webinar, the webinars that we're doing. The next one's the motions coaching. Our YouTube channel, which this will be up on next week. I'm going to send it out to the participants who are here today, and then ones that signed up. So we have that. And then if you wouldn't mind, that last thing is just a feedback, so I can know kind of what to do and what parents are looking for to make any changes. So I appreciate you ladies being here, because this is one of those nebulous things that it feels like we should all just know how to do. And guess what? We don't all know how to do it, and it's okay. And that's why we have all of our people around for support. And as you can see, people that have come, we've got people at school that want to help. So please reach out and gain support from your counselor or teacher, whoever. We're here to help. So it looks like we do have one question.
Mm-hmm.
if the student is missing assignments, is it possible to ask for an extension?
Yeah, so one thing that I would really encourage your student to do, like we've been seeing those emails coming back, but having them come from the student, have them CC you on the email so that there's this like my student, the parent, and the teacher all working on this together. But yes, asking for an extension, if you know you need that, I think is totally acceptable. Teachers are always willing and able to accommodate and modify lessons if they need that. When I was teaching before I got this position, if I knew a student was really working hard on an assignment and a parent was like, we're working on this, but there's just so much going on that we're struggling to juggle all of it. This is our plan for getting it done. Is that okay? I would always allow that. I know some teachers might say, especially at the higher levels, that like, okay, yes, you can turn it in late, but you might lose 5 points. Okay, well, I'd rather lose 5 points than turn in something and get a 0. So thank you for that extension. But I would always encourage that open dialogue with the teacher to let them know what's going on and asking for that extension, but not just necessarily saying it as an open extension, but saying, hey, can we have an extension? We think we can get it done by this date, or we think we can get it done by that time. Really shows that you're willing to work with that teacher.
Perfect, thank you. Another one, my older son is starting hybrid. Will they be packing their laptops to school as well? And the answer
That
to
is my understanding. Yes.
yes. So the kids that have laptops checked out to them, I just heard this today, will need to bring their laptops. They're going to get a sleeve, so at least it's protected back and forth from school. With the kids that are in class, we won't have enough for if kids leave them at home, so they will need to bring it with them.
The other piece I will say is when we sent out the survey asking families if they were choosing to stay remote or if they were planning on coming back for that hybrid concurrent model, one of the questions was, do you need transportation? And then the third question was, did you check out a laptop from our district? And so those families that said, no, we didn't, another survey will be coming out to say, do you need one from the district, or are you planning on using your own? And so some students will be allowed to bring in their own personal laptop if they feel that it has a higher charge and they work better on it and they know that system. That will be an option. Or we will have Chromebooks. We will have the old MacBooks that are Microsoft laptops that we'll be able to give. We're going to have charging stations in classrooms so they can do that. And as Ms. Thiebert said, if they forget, we won't have backups. So they'll be stuck with using pencil and paper. But what we do know is that when everybody else is using the laptop and I'm the one stuck with the pencil and paper, I've learned my lesson and now I want to pack my laptop next time. So we're not going to say, oh, you forgot your laptop. Today's a day you don't have to worry about learning. We're still a school and we still encourage learning.
Thank you. Great answer. And another question, are there time management courses in high school?
There is, I think, with Freshman Success, the Freshman Success program, I believe they do work with time management in that one.
Yes, they do. That is
So it's not necessarily a course, but it is something that they hit on in that Freshman Success class, right, Ms. Stillmaker?
Correct. And also we talk about it during our homeroom lessons. We have homeroom lessons that happen on Mondays and Fridays. And that has been one of the topics that we have discussed, or that we've already discussed with your kids. Actually, we started before now at the beginning of the year.
And I will even say it's even something that's starting to trickle down all the way to elementary school. As I said, my third grader has a planner and his teacher is teaching him, these are the ones that are your priorities. These are the things that are lower priority. They're already having those discussions at the elementary level as well. Whether it sticks with some of our students is different than some of them as well, because I also know other students that I've worked with that hear it and they're like, but their backpack is still that garbage disposal and they need that extra love and support to say, let's reorganize.
And sometimes the growth and brain development, they'll get there about freshman year with the organization. So have faith, your child will become organized. And the things that you teach them, they will come to fruition. Sometimes it just takes a little while.
I will also say with the organization and the time management piece, I am a type A personality myself, and it has taken a lot of my own growth and deep breathing practices when I am working with people that are close to me saying, okay, your system is not how I would create my organizational system. But if your system does work for you, then that's okay. And so having that conversation and that mindset for me has been really hard, because I'm like, but I know a better way. But if it works for them, then that's important. But it's also important as the parent to go, okay, you said it's working for you. However, these are things that I'm seeing that's not. So how can we adjust it to ensure that it actually does work for you?
Perfect. Thank you. I don't see any more questions. I'll leave just a second in case there are any more questions. Just wanted to make sure everybody knows that the next ones that we have coming up, if I can get my slide to go forward, there you go, is emotion coaching, and it's a 2-night class. You can, the link that I put in the chat, you can register there. And so that'll be, the Gottman Institute put out this training, and it's videos and discussions and activities. And I'll be running that with Carrie Silvers. We love to present together, so we'll have some fun doing that as well. Patty and Megan, thank you for being willing to sit inside on a beautiful, beautiful day. So with that, I don't see any more questions in the chat. So I'm going to let us go, and thank you and have a wonderful day, everybody.
Thank you, participants, for joining us. So I wasn't talking to a blank screen.
Yes, thank you.
Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.